Welcome back to another video. If you are watching for the first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Natasha, and I do hope you become a part of this beautiful family where we share our experiences, we learn and we grow just by clicking the red subscribe button below. If you haven't, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you're one of the first people to be notified when I do post a video. For those of you who are coming back, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you're going to enjoy this video. So guys, as you can tell from the title of the video, I am going to be sharing my high school to university struggles and basically the challenges, the main big challenges that I faced when I transitioned from high school to university. So to cut a long story short, when I matriculated and finished my grade 12, I never went straight into university because of two reasons. The first reason was that my marks were very low. And even though I passed my matric, I didn't pass it as I hoped I would. And the second reason why I never went straight to university after high school was because of the fact that I never applied at a lot of universities. So the few that I did actually apply at regretted me because of my low marks. And that actually made me end up improving my marks the following year, because obviously with the hopes of if my marks are better, I'm going to get a better chance of getting into varsity. Long story short, I improved my marks the next year after I matriculated, and my marks came back and they didn't improve as much as I thought they would. And I got to that point whereby I was like, you know what, I don't want to be staying, I don't want to like have a gap year again or stay at home and not do anything again. So I want to get into university, I want to study, and I'm willing to take anything that comes my way. So long story short, when I actually went to the Nelson Mandela University to apply, most of the courses that I wanted to do were full. So they had a list of different courses that were available for a person to choose from. So I just chose whatever I felt like would best fit me at that time. And I told myself, Uguti, once I'm already there, then I'll change into something else. So by the grace of God, I got into a course, and the following year, I changed it. The next step was for me to get funding. Obviously, my mother had passed away and she never left any money for me because obviously my mother was not the richest woman in the world. And with that being said, also, the family that I was staying with was obviously not prepared to be paying thousands for me. But with the grace of God, when I got to university, I met a man who really assisted me, you know, like showing me around the university and all of that. And he actually encouraged me to apply for NSFAS. And long story short, I got funding. And then in that same year when I started university, there were vacancies open for people who wanted to be registration coordinators. And I applied for that too. And I got, my application was successful, and I became a registration coordinator. What I used to do mainly was just take pictures of students and activate their student cards so that they can have access to the university facilities. So that was literally God for me, because I mean, I wasn't sure how I was going to get funding, and you know, just getting a job, like literally being a new student and you're already getting a job, that could only have been God. And I was truly grateful for that, because at least I managed to make myself like some pocket money to do other things with. So after I started studying and I got funding and I got a job in my first year, the next step now was that I needed to get accommodation. So for my first year, obviously I stayed at home. I didn't stay in a student accommodation, I stayed at home. But in my second year, I decided that I actually want to stay in a student accommodation, because university and home and the demands at home, the chores, the responsibilities, the stress, was just not working out for me. And at that time, I was staying with a family that didn't treat me very well. Long story short, I'll share that in a separate video sometime soon. But I was staying with a family that didn't treat me very well. So I literally wanted to leave the house. So long story short, in my second year, I met a friend. She offered me a place to stay. I stayed there for my second year and my third year. And then I actually literally moved out of the house in my second year. It was not the best transition because Obviously, the family I stayed with was not happy because I was kind of like a huge assistance for them. So basically, the things that I used to do, they wouldn't have anyone to do them. But I just told myself, Uguti, I don't want to be here. I need to stay far away from home so that I can focus on my studies and so that I have, like, you know, just the freedom of being able to, you know, do my schoolwork properly and without any stresses and all of that. Then the next plan I had for myself was to get a part-time job that can actually at least assist me financially, to give me some pocket money, because back then, guys, UNASFAS never used to like give like a lot of money. I think I used to get 500 from NSFAS at that time. So it wasn't enough for me to sustain my needs, like in terms of buying groceries, toiletries, and actually I had to assist my friend with a bit of rent. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and look for a job. And I was doing my second year at that time. I'm going to go and look for a job. And yeah, that's what I did. And so then I got my first job, like proper job, after getting out of high school. I worked for a frozen yogurt bar, very famous one, and that was just honestly a blessing from God, because even the way it happened, guys, the way I got that job was just honestly God. How I got the job was that I prayed to God. I was like, God, I want to get a job. So please assist me, and you know, just please lead me to the right direction to get this job so that I can at least have some pocket money for other stuff that I want to do. Then one afternoon, after I finished, I think I had my last afternoon lecture, I decided that I'm going to go job hunting. So I did that, and I got to the frozen yogurt bar. I asked to speak to the manager, and they told me that the manager was out and that she'll be back after, like, I think a couple of hours. Then when I came back, she was there, guys. So when I got there, I literally just asked her, like, do you guys need any people? So I think they had hired people already. She thought I was one of the people that they had hired. So she literally just said, come in, sat me down, gave me my uniform, and we went through an induction thing. Now you tell me, is that not God? So then after that, she told us that they're going to have kind of like a what do they call it, a launch that same evening. Then I should actually come through for the launch, and we got our uniforms, and yeah, basically that's how I got my first job after high school. So I worked there for 2 years, and it was honestly such a bliss, and I'll forever be grateful to God for that. Then the next year, I was doing my third and last year. It was one of the most challenging years of my life. I was going through so much. I think that was 1 year where I had an identity crisis. I didn't really know who I was in Christ. I was still trying to discover myself. So I was honestly all over the place. I was involved in things that I had no business being involved in. But that's besides the point. I managed to finish my third year, but then I failed a module. But by the grace of God, I actually passed. And the following year, I graduated. So yeah, guys, those were my high school to university struggles, guys. I really hope that this video inspires someone, that even if you don't get into the course that you want to do in record time, or literally after you leave high school, it doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Yes, you're gonna be a year or two behind, but then you never know, Uguti, the people that who have gotten to varsity before you might actually even end up finishing before them, you know. And you know, just the simple things of how God provided for me, being able to get funding, you know, and you know, getting a job at the university when I was just doing my first year, and you know, just the whole blessing of getting accommodation, you know, even, and thereafter getting, you know, myself a job, you know. And it was one of my main goals that I wanted to get a job that year, and God blessed me with that, and to finally actually finishing my diploma. And even though I failed one module in my last year, God was like, his delay is not his denial, you know. And even though at that time I felt so discouraged, because most of the people that I studied with like managed to pass everything in their third year, and that feeling of, you know, seeing other people excited that they're going to be graduating and not knowing if you are going to manage to graduate, it really played with my self-esteem and faith in God so much. But then I held on, and I worked my ass off for that one module that I had failed, and I actually ended up passing. And guess what? I actually graduated with the same people who had passed everything in their third year. So always remember, just because God takes you on a different path than others, it doesn't mean that you'll never be successful, or you'll never actually eventually, reach that goal, or, accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. It may take a little time, or your route may have a detour, but all in all, you are going to end up where you're supposed to be. And if it's part of God's plan, it will come to be. And yeah, basically that was me, guys. I'm forever grateful to God for, the blessings, and for him having his hand upon my life, from high school to university, and for providing for me all those years. I do not take it for granted, and I'll forever be grateful, because I know that there are people who would do anything to be where I am. There are people who would do anything, to have gotten the blessings that I had at that time, So yeah, guys, I really hope this video really inspired someone out there. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and share the video if you feel like this was such a powerful and inspirational video. And don't forget to comment in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit your notification bell so that you are the first person to be notified when I do post a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.